Also to say that this is the second of such reports. We had our first report covering 2 months, August, September. This is October, November, December. This report covers 3 months. So as Melody has just said, we have just 2 principal objectives. The first one, per our baseline report, was a gap between citizens and community and the security agencies at the borders. They were just not sharing information. So we wanted to break that gap. The second was to also get information as to what is happening in our borders. And this information is what we are sharing today. So in all, our volunteers visited 369 border communities out of the 44. They were roaming and capturing information as to what is happening using the checklists. And in addition to monitoring and giving us reports, they were also trained to conduct education. So they were using community forums, community radio stations, and they were also using town hall forums to educate the people. In some instances, they organized awareness creation and sensitization programs in mosques and churches. In such forums, they organized 267 during the 3 months of their monitoring report. So in analyzing, we have brief summary of what they found during the 3 months. 1, we realized that the current security situation in the border communities has been generally calm, with a few reported criminal cases that have received the attention of the security agencies present at the border communities. So it means that comparing our earlier report to this one, there has been improvement about the security situation in our border communities. There appears to be a seemingly good relationship between residents in the border communities observed and the security agencies. In majority of the communities monitored, there were no reported cases of human rights abuses. However, in a few communities, there were observed issues of human rights abuses, such as child trafficking and child labor. Radio and community sensitization programs facilitated by the volunteers have enhanced knowledge of residents in border communities on cross-border crimes and external security threats. We're comparing this to our previous report and also what we found in our baseline survey. Now the main findings. The finding on security awareness and consciousness creation. Per reports received, according to the assessment by the traditional community volunteers who monitor the selected border communities, the current security situation in about 8 in 10 border areas, that's 76% of the communities observed, was generally good. However, in 41, that's almost 11% in the community they observed. For instance, in Bono, Oti, Upper East, Western North, Savannah, Northern Volta, Western and Upper West regions, the volunteers rated the current security situations as poor or very poor. And we have the diagram. When you get a copy of the report, you see it. In detail, regarding the level of security awareness among residents of border communities across the country, 68% of the communities monitored rated their security awareness level as excellence. So when you look at our previous report, it was only 48% who rated their security consciousness as excellent or good. This has increased over the 3 months to 68%. It probably may mean that our sensitization education programs are yielding some results. The volunteers also reported that about 9 out of 10, that's 91% of the communities monitored, there were no visible threats of terrorism or issues of violent extremism. However, in about 9% of the communities in the Bono, Oti, Upper East, Western, Northern, Volta, Western and Northeast regions, the volunteers reported either observing or hearing about suspected criminal activities and cases of illegal cross-border activities, including smuggling of goods. So please take notes of the 2 statements. There were no official report, meaning the security agency did not report such issues to us, but our volunteers observed or heard some of these things happening at the border communities. Some of the cases reported include the following. Officers of Ghana Immigration Service at Kulungugu in the Upper East region arrested a foreign national in connection with a seized gun, some quantity of bullets, and a cutlass. The suspect was handed over to the police for further investigation. 2. 5 men were arrested at Tanusiano in the Volta region for concealing 4 guns and 200 DB cartridges in a bag of charcoal. 3. At Shemiha in the Western North region, the volunteer reported that illegal migrants, especially Ivorians, are using unapproved routes into the community for trading and smuggling of agricultural inputs and cocoa from the community to Ivory Coast. Now, on the issue of improving trust and confidence between community and security services, we also had a special monitoring there. According to the reports, the relationship between residents living in border communities monitored and the security officers at the borders during this reporting period, 3 months, was good or very good. Specifically, 69% of the volunteers rated the relationship between the residents and the border security officers as very good. Furthermore, the volunteers also indicated that 88% of the communities did not have any form of disputes between members of the border communities and the security officers. In the few instances where there were disputes between the two groups, disagreement over fines, arrests, and enforcement of prevention orders at the borders caused the dispute between them. So you realize that there are no issues of struggling about the illegal migration and other things, but when the people living at the border communities want to cross and the immigration officers want to enforce prevention measures, it becomes a dispute or conflict between the two of them. Human rights abuses, that's the third point. According to a few incidents reported by the volunteers, human rights abuses in border communities remain very low. They indicated that close to 9 out of 10, that's 88% communities, recorded no such incidents. However, in 10% of the communities monitored, documented abuses such as child trafficking and child labor. For instance, there were reports from Shemiha, a community in the Western North region, that children are being trafficked to neighboring Ivory Coast. Furthermore, at Bandaya in the Western North region, the volunteer reported that some migrant children were seen working permanently as laborers on cocoa farms. Interventions that we implemented: radio and community sensitization programs.